Howdy, and welcome to another South Dakota Sports Lounge from the Orion Pub in downtown Sioux Falls. I'm John Gaskins, and once again, we have some of the best, most compelling, and topical conversations from this week's worth of daily shows in our Forum Communications family. Like Cory Provus, the play-by-play announcer for the Minnesota Twins, joining Dom Izzo on the Hot Mic Show in Fargo to talk about the calling down of once burgeoning prospect Royce Lewis. Out in Rapid City, Nate Brown has Rob Bishop, the head coach of South Dakota State's baseball team, which is in the NCAA tournament for the first time in his 10-year tenure and just the second time in program history. And we'll circle it back to Sioux Falls, where the Stampede hockey team won its fourth Clark Cup ever, its first in 7 years. Zach Borg covered the celebration, a parade at the ballpark, once the Stampede came home from Muskegon, Michigan. And we begin today's South Dakota Sports Lounge with a conversation with the Herd's president and play-by-play announcer Jim Olander and the head coach Ryan Cruthers on how special this team was and how they eventually hoisted the cup. It's the first one in 7 years, but it's your first as the coach of the Stampede. So, I mean, what have the last 72 hours been like?
It's been amazing. This community is unbelievable. From Monday, it was a holiday, so my neighborhood was all celebrating and loved that we won, and I had the cup for the morning, and then the guys had it. And then yesterday the parade, and it's just been every day is like something else. And we went to lunch, and then our players went to Pizza Shop. It's been great to us, and they were there with the cup, and it's cool to see this community embrace this group. And today was our exit meetings. It's kind of a sad day as a coach, and no matter how close you are with the team, you never get the whole group together. And I have never won one at the USHL level, but I've won 4 others, and we get together for reunions and we get together for weddings and things, but it's never the whole group. And you know what? Today was the last day of the whole group together, and it's bittersweet, but we got the ultimate goal and the ultimate prize, and we're enjoying it.
Well, I mean, we'll kind of walk our way back, but we'll stick with the last 24 hours. Because 24 hours ago you said you hadn't slept yet.
Yeah.
So did you get any sleep overnight here, Tuesday into Wednesday?
I got a little bit, not a lot, but
okay.
a little bit.
You have 2 young kids too, right?
I do. I got 2 young kids. They were in the parade. It was amazing, and then I spent the rest of my night with Jimmy, and we had a great time, and we got home late.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You got to get out of the house.
Got out of the house.
Okay, all right. You got to celebrate a little, catch up. What was it like at Barrel House yesterday?
Barrel House is I'm very superstitious, as everyone knows, and Barrel House is a place that we would go to sometimes and for lunch or whatever, and we went twice during the playoffs, and the game after we went, we lost both. So I banned the Barrel House. Coach Collector didn't like that. He lives next door to the Barrel House. I think he sleeps there most nights. But I banned the Barrel House. I said no one's allowed to go to the Barrel House till the playoffs are over. And then I got a FaceTime before Game 5 it was Game 4 against Fargo. And I look at the ceiling, and my wife and kids are in Barrel House. And I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, we didn't know the rules apply to us. I'm like, yeah. So they were there. But we went back yesterday to kind of recap everything with our GM and hung out all afternoon, and it was a great time before the parade.
Yeah, and again, fans had a chance to take pictures with the
club. I met some of your favorite people in the world. Yeah, they were speaking very highly of you, okay. And they were
probably
enjoying some drinks.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were done with that. No, they had great things to say about you, and we had a good time with the fans.
Yeah, there. I wanted to go. I just couldn't get out of work. If I would have, I would have worked there. But it's okay. We're here. We knew we would be here, and that's great. And then the celebration at the Birdcage. First of all, Jimmy, how did that come about? Why was that the venue that was chosen, and how did it play out?
I think we wanted to have a spot where we knew we'd have a good turnout. I was very confident that we would have a lot of fans, and with the season we've had, and just kind of thinking through, and Coach and I had talked before, kind of he's always been wanting a parade, and I was kind of like, well, I can kind of get you one. Like, it's going to be kind of a parade. So we were able to work with one of our sponsors, Rosenbauer, and they were great, and got us some huge fire trucks for the guys to be on. And the whole point was just to, kind of have a grand entrance into the stadium and let the fans be able to cheer. And everybody came out, and they're on the sidewalk cheering for the guys. And then we had the fire trucks and police come right in front of them and get a chance to see the players. So, something that I know I'm not going to forget anytime soon. And I could only imagine being a player and being on the truck and, experiencing that in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And, we talked to the players about it, and I mentioned it in my speech yesterday too. I mean, they're never going to have another team like this, and I don't think they're going to go on to a lot of bigger and better things, but I don't think they're going to be in a community like this. They're not going to be around a fan base like this again. So for them to get to experience that one more time, I think it's pretty special.
Okay, so I'll ask you, and then I want to get Ryan's answer. When you say that they're never going to have a team like this, what do you mean by that?
I've been around obviously a lot of teams, and this one was special. Just Coach talked a lot about them being family, about the culture, and credit to him. He's obviously a great coach and has proven that, and he got these guys to buy in to his system and to playing as a team. And there were no egos on this team. I mean, everybody loved everybody. I mean, I saw it from just traveling with the team for lunches. Usually during a season you'll see little pockets where 3 or 4 guys kind of hang out for lunch together, and it's kind of the same guys all the time, or they're going to to Chipotle together or whatever. And this team literally did everything together, and it was always somebody different sitting with somebody else at lunch or a pregame meal or whatever it was, and you could just tell. And again, backs up against the wall 4 times this playoff. When you're talking about teenagers and it's getting nice out, I mean, nobody would have faulted them at all, but it'd been pretty easy to just be like, you know what, I want to go home. I'm ready to go home. It's been a long season. I mean, these guys have been here since August.
Wow.
So I mean, it's been basically 9 months of hockey, and they didn't want to. They wanted to. I think that's what powered us through, is they did not want to leave Sioux Falls. They didn't want to leave this team, and ultimately it helped us and pushed us to winning the cup.
Ryan, what does it mean to you? Well, first of all, when he says they'll never have a team like this, the guys on the team will never be on a team like that. But for you, how is this unique to even any team you've coached on? You've said you've coached winning teams, which I'm sure some of them had. They
all have their different stories and storylines. I just want to go back to the parade and what Jim did and what I put him under. I said it to the guys. You do different things to motivate them, and I one day I was like, you know how good it's going to feel when we're in the parade and we're in Sioux Falls, and then we started winning more and more, and I was like, Jim, we're probably going to need a parade. I don't want to lie to the guys. We're going to have to do a parade here. He was like, I don't know, but we got to figure something out. And that parade yesterday, like what the community did for us, and Jim and Rosenbauer, and I mean, that stuff, for me, it gives me chills. I just had lunch with my staff, and all we did was watch videos of the parade the whole time. And because none of us ever experienced anything like that. I mean, to stand on top of a fire truck and people cheering for you, and there was cars stopping and honking, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I want to do it again. But yesterday was the best moment I've had, other than when Joey Macrina scored that goal. Yeah. Yesterday was just like a surreal experience that I want to cherish forever.
Okay, so paint the picture for those who weren't there, how the parade worked. Like, was there a little bit of a cavalcade into the stadium?
Yeah, so we had them come down West Avenue, and we had all of our we had people in the birdcage starting at 6 o'clock. We asked them to come out at 6:30 and kind of line up at the edge of the parking lot there near the street, and we had the trucks come by, and they basically passed, and obviously they're on the other side of the street. So then we had them come into the parking lot, and then they made their way and drove right past the fans, and then right up to the birdcage where they hopped off and got into the stadium to get ready for the ceremony.
And what kind of a crowd did we see?
Amazing. I mean,
I don't know.
I think
our guys were there for 3 hours signing autographs after. I mean, and they love doing it. And I think we talked about that at lunch, is that, season's over, we won, they're kids, who knows what they want to do, but to sit on the infield of the birdcage for 3 hours and sign autographs with smiles on their face. That's the type of character that we had. Like, to me, that was the defining moment. If people ask why we won, watch those guys sign autographs when their season's over and they're on to other things, or they're got a flight tomorrow out of town, and they sat there and they took pictures and they signed autographs and they hugged their fans. And to me, that the group is so cool. It's like, it's not miracle, like it wasn't that, but it kind of was in the way in which we went about it. Those guys loved each other, and that was the only way this team could win, was with that, and they did it.
To Fargo and Hot Mike with Dom Izzo, who brought on one of the 32 play-by-play men in Major League Baseball to talk about a touchy subject.
Deep to left center field, back it goes and gone! The 0-2 pitch, he struck him out swinging at 101. Swinging a drive, left field and deep, back it goes and gone. And the Twins walk it off again.
All right, it's that time on a Friday. We visit with our guy, Cory Provus, who joins us live from lovely Boston as the Twins get set for a 10-game, three-city road tour. Starts off at Fenway Park. They'll make their way to Cory's hometown of Chicago and then off to Pittsburgh after that. Good to see him, man. It's been a newsy, busy week for the Twins. How was the trip into Boston?
It was fine. It was great. We traveled yesterday, got in last night, and had dinner last night with Chris and Perk. Went out to the North End. That's a famous area of great Italian food and bakeries and all that. So I love coming here. One of my favorite stops on the tour, and for a weekend, especially here, it's always special.
How cramped is the visiting TV booth? Is it okay, or what do you got?
Oh, it's a good size.
Okay.
No, it's fine. You got plenty of room in the back. This is great. The accommodations here are fine. Wrigley's tight in terms of just size and space, but if we don't have a three-man crew, it's great. Now we don't have a three-man crew here. We won't have a three-man crew at Wrigley in July out of the All-Star break. So the two oldest ballparks in our grand game, and if that's what we're complaining about, we're doing just fine in life.
So we were on this same segment last week talking on Royce Lewis's immediate future. It was not a good weekend against the Brewers, and eventually, obviously, the Twins made a move to send him to St. Paul. Give us your diagnosis of this, and when do we see him back in the majors?
Wasn't surprising. I think it was, and I think we kind of hit on this a little bit last week, just based on the tone of our conversation, that this seemed to be inevitable. Justin talked about this when we got back together for the game on Tuesday, because the roster news happened on Monday. I was a little surprised it didn't happen after the Sunday game in advance of the Monday game, even though I know St. Paul is off on Monday and all the minor leagues for that matter. But there was that last at bat, or second to last at bat, that Sunday game when Royce tried to bunt.
Yes.
And that caught me off guard, Molitor too, but then especially, Justin, when he was kind of watching the game, and like that's not something that he normally does. And not to say it's a bad play with the way that he's been going, because that was, Tom Kelly used to talk about that all the time, that if you're stuck in an 0 for 20, you're not making contact, do something different and bunt. And so I think that's what Royce was trying to do. They weren't very good attempts. But I think this was inevitable. I think, what the Twins have done with Matt Wallner, what they're doing now with Royce, to me, is 100% performance-based. Mm-hmm. And I think that's only fair to the team, too, that you've got to, what's happening here right now, and I think it's fair for the player. There was some, we asked, not we, but the media asked Jeremy Zoll on Tuesday if there was any thought about Royce going back to Fort Myers, to completely hit the reset button and go back down to Florida, just to kind of get out of the market. And yes, he's in a different team, but he's in the Minneapolis-St. Paul market still. It didn't seem like those conversations, or even that idea, at least publicly, went very far. So St. Paul is where he's at. It was good to see him homer last night in his first game with the Saints, but I think to me, it wasn't a surprise. I think it was the right call based on just how it's been going for Royce here this season.
Cory, is this, the last injury? I look back at what he did in that playoff run against Toronto. He was on fire. it has not seemed himself even after that most recent injury. You're there every day. Can you give me your diagnosis on what you've seen over the last year and a half?
I just wonder how solid the right leg is.
Yeah.
And the right leg, that's been sadly the compromised leg. Now, the injury he had this season, that was the opposite leg. It was his left knee. But I just wonder, everything that leg has been through, from the 2 ACLs, but even the soft tissue injuries that have popped up over the years, many, if not all, have been on that right side. And that goes up to his adductor, his groin, all these, different things that he's had. That's what I always have thought about. And I'm anything but, a strength trainer, but I just wonder how solid is that right leg, your foundation as he's batting. And, if you notice too, Royce, certainly on pitches inside, he shuffles his feet a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
He just kind of shuffles and backs up a little bit. And I don't see that as a very common visual sight amongst hitters in the game. And I don't know what to make of that. But that is something that and I'm sure others have noticed here the last couple of seasons watching Royce, is that the lower half is just moving around a lot.
Yeah.
It's a very fidgety lower half. And for a guy that is hoping to be a 15, 20 homer guy, where are the comps with that? I don't think there are too many. So it's not unusual for a guy to overhaul the swing and make swing adjustments. It happens way more often than we probably know or pay attention to, unless you're really studying hands and feet and stances. And there are ways to do that now with Baseball Savant, but I'm not diving into that every single day. But I think, getting away from the big league club, and yes, he's only across the river, but still just to reset a little bit, find some confidence, and then see where we're at whenever his time comes back around. But this is not going to be, hey, play well for a week and you're coming back. I think this is going to be a bit.
Okay. On top of that, then the bizarre injury that happened to Ryan Jeffers. I want you to take us through what you saw in that, and then afterwards we find out he might be out for 2 months now.
Yeah, he's got a broken hamate bone, and he sounded. I saw him in the clubhouse because his flight got delayed the other day. He's looking at this maybe as 4 or 5 weeks, and then he'll be back. So he was pretty optimistic about how his ability to return, and it stinks for a variety of reasons. In many ways, I just think he was so irreplaceable right now because of how good he's been at the plate, how good he's been with the ABS. Even his throwing has gotten better here as the season's played out. He's thrown out a few base runners, including David Hamilton, the speedster for Milwaukee. Got him the other day with a throw to second base, which was good to see. He's just been playing at an all-star level that, for a guy that's a free agent end of the year, he should be back before the trade deadline. I mean, he should be back, he said, by early to mid-July. So he's going to have, probably some time to get everything ready and get everything right and see where the team is at that point. But you feel for him because he was playing so well. Yeah. And then it does impact the team drastically. I mean, drastically with how good he's been at the plate. It's a significant loss right now with this team. We're watching the injury as it happened live. He had that foul ball.
Yeah.
And then he in fact, he brought up the phone. He opened up the video to me in the clubhouse the next day when I saw him, and he's got his hand already in a soft cast. And he said, "Did you see that I winced after I took one practice swing?" And I said, "I didn't." He slowed it down for me. And if you really go back and look at it, so after the foul ball, he gets a new bat in his hand, right? And then he takes 1 or 2 practice swings and he winces. And I'm like, ooh. And then as he came out, he's talking with Shelty and I think Nick Paparesta. I could have sworn, reading his lips, he said wrist. He said wrist. And we didn't say it on the air because I didn't want to be wrong.
Right.
But then after the game, we learned it was a left wrist sprain, but then further examination revealed the broken hamate bone. So it's going around. What's odd about this is that, Jeffers, he uses an axe handle. So there's really no knob at the bottom. Oh. It's actually more common for those that wrap your bottom hand around the knob. He doesn't do that. He has that axe handle. So it's obviously not impossible, but I think they're pretty rare to happen for guys that use the axe handle bottom as opposed to your traditional knob.
On top of that, other bizarre thing, Joe Ryan looks unhittable. After he pulled himself out of the game, can you figure out, the 3 starts he's had since he came out? He looks like the all-star Joe Ryan we come to know.
Again, we chalk it up to it is the Joe Ryan experience. Yeah. He's one of the most since Joey Votto retired from baseball, I think the game has been looking for the most interesting man in the sport. I don't have a vote for that, but if I did, Joe Ryan to me is the most interesting man in the sport. We tell, whether I'm doing it for Twins TV or a national game, I always say with our directors, let's keep a camera on him at all times because you never know what you're going to see. You'll see faces, you'll see expressions, you'll see him singing My Sharona, you'll see him doing the oddest things. He's a character. He really is just like a character of an individual, but he makes it fun, not to mention he's really good. So 3 straight starts, 6 innings, allowing 1 run, struck out 9, a season high the other day. He looks great, and that is beyond best case scenario. I think we talked about this 2 weeks ago, that what he has done since that injury scare against Toronto, I think has blown everybody away with how well he's throwing the ball. So he's going up against the White Sox in his next start, and that Chicago team can hit, Dom. That they're putting up some runs, and it's a confident young team right now. A lot of savvy trades that they have made, and even some free agent signings, especially with Murakami, are paying dividends and then some right now. So that this is not going to be an easy series. And heck, the White Sox beat the Twins. They won the season series head-to-head last year. So getting our first look at this new Chicago team on Monday.
Let's break. We come back. Speaking of new, the Twins have a new player coming up. They just made the announcement right before Cory came on, so we'll talk about the new guy that's being added to the roster, chat about the series of the Red Sox as well. We turn on Hot Mike on WDAY Extra right after this.
From Fargo to Rapid City, and Nate Brown brought in the latest Jackrabbit coach to hoist a Summit League tournament trophy.
Welcome back in Your Sports, Your Show. The Nate Brown Show is on across the state on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Welcome in, East River. Appreciate you being here. Also, West River, we got you on Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here. South Dakota Sports Talk Show live, and stream us all the time on X at Nate Brown Show. Find us on X, Twitter, and follow us and watch us live on your phone at Nate Brown Show. A lot of attention for Jacks baseball, and rightfully so. They're in the NCAA tournament, the Lincoln Regional. Coming up, they're playing the Huskers on Friday. Head coach, South Dakota State, getting through the Summit League win. Rob Bishop on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Coach, good to get you on. How are you?
Well, I'm great, Nate. Things have gotten a lot more busy here recently, but that's an uptown problem.
That is, man. I congratulations, and I'm sure you've been getting blown up. Everybody's sending messages to everybody. Oh, yeah, we want to talk to Coach at Jack's Baseball now. We're in this thing. I got to do this. How have you been able to get through this year? Was it a perfect storm, a great stretch? How did this team do it this year after so many tough seasons where you're close but not able to get through the Oral Roberts of the world? How did it happen this year?
Well, I think, it starts with just like consistently putting our team in that tournament. We've been pretty consistently in the top 4, and we played in the championship games a few times, and we were healthier at the end of the year, and honestly just playing our best baseball in that last 6 weeks. So we just came into that tournament, I think, with a lot of belief and feeling pretty good physically, and I got off to a good start and got a little momentum.
Okay, so you get over the top. Could you start telling, you were in good position here. Could you start telling, hey, this might happen, the guys believing?
Yeah, we won the first game, and obviously, you feel really good about that. But there's a lot of work to do, and we score some runs, and then we win a really tight one with Northern Colorado, 2-1, and earn a day off. And the day off means everything because everyone else that's playing is burning pitching, and you're resting and getting ready for a potential doubleheader, and it ended up being that way. After we lose the first game, the guys are obviously down, but this group has been resilient all year. In the winner-take-all championship game, they get 2 in the top of the first, and it had been really easy to say, oh, here we go again, and we answer with 2 solo home runs in the bottom of the first. And honestly, from that point, I thought our dugout thought we were going to win that game. So it was good fun.
Rob Bishop on tonight talking South Dakota State baseball with the Jacks head coach. They get through Oral Roberts, and that hasn't happened, Coach, and since they've been in the league. And now you get to the NCAA tourney, you face the Huskers. We'll get to that. But I want to ask you about, you've been at this program now. So you've recruited to Brookings, and you've built this program, making it competitive. How hard is it for a northern team to do that?
Well, I think there definitely are challenges. In the north, and it starts with population, right? We just don't, we're not near a major metro area, so our recruiting area has to be pretty large, and it's probably Rapid City to Wisconsin to Des Moines to Omaha, so it's that big circle. We've had just some great kids and great human beings come through the program, and so we've always been really solid from that point. And I think the real focus, and fans on the outside probably wouldn't understand this, but the real focus, knowing we're going to have to play our first 30 games every year on the road, is to schedule as tough a competition as we can in the preseason. And we're not scheduling with the idea that we're trying to win 40 games. We understand the Summit League is going to be a one-bid league, and our job is to prepare our team for that conference season and the back half of the season, just to make a good run. So, our early season, and you look at NDSU, you look at Omaha, you look at St. Thomas, all good teams. They all have to do it similarly. And so, you get beat up a little bit in the non-conference, and it's really easy to think, that league's not very good. But that is absolutely not the case. It's really good baseball, and the league was as good this year as it's been from top to bottom. And so I was just really happy that we could put ourselves in a good position down the stretch.
Coach, take people behind the scenes a little bit for baseball parents that are listening, baseball fans. The landscape has changed, man. I look at it over the past decade, I guess. There's travel baseball. There's these travel tournaments. And college coaches, they say, well, you got to get to those. You got to play in those. There's Legion baseball still in South Dakota, Iowa, Minnesota, that Nebraska, that's pretty healthy Legion in this part of the country. And then there's high school baseball. You're like, okay, a lot of states take that serious. South Dakota, the scene's a little different. You got high school and Legion. And then there's the transfer portal. And so you're like, well, I got to probably bring in some guys that have experience. Man, it seems like the recruiting, that side of it, all those aspects has to be a lot different.
Oh, it's just wacky. I mean, it couldn't be any more different now than it was even 5 years ago. This is going to be a contrarian view of it, but we really just have tried to stick with our original plan and honestly almost double down on it. We want to go get high school guys that want to graduate with a degree from South Dakota State. And those guys need to fit here for a lot of reasons, not just the baseball side. If I'm a parent and I'm trying to help my son or daughter get recruited in baseball or softball or any other sport for that matter, I just think you really have to be clear about, what are you looking for? And are you looking for a spot to land and graduate? And if that's what you're looking for, then when you're vetting those schools and coaches and programs, you need to hear that and see that with their roster management. If a team has 15 transfer portal guys every year, that's a terrible place to go be a freshman, because you're not going to compete with a team full of 23-year-old guys. So we, the people don't know this unless they follow us closely. We have by far the youngest team this year in the Summit League. So, it's the lion's share of our guys are guys that started here. We didn't start a single senior in the championship game against Oral Roberts. So we're really young, and our freshmen are on the field. And again, I think that's we're the outlier in that right now. But I also think it's a recruiting advantage, because who sends their kid to school hoping they go to 4 spots and find the best NIL deal every year? you want to have an experience and get an education as well.
Rob Bishop on tonight. Good to have him. Jacks baseball is rolling to face Nebraska in the NCAA Regional. South Dakota State playing them on Friday. Coach, I'll let you run with that. You already played Nebraska in March, lost 5-4. Does that have anything to do with Friday, that result?
I think it's a yes and no question. I mean, obviously, on the midweeks in college baseball are so different because everyone is throwing their younger guys or have a plan to throw 4, 5, 6 pitchers, and if you have guys dinged up from a position standpoint, maybe that's when they're resting. But, we played pretty much every year in the last 5 at Nebraska midweek, and so the yes part of that question, I don't think it has necessarily anything to do with the score, but our guys are comfortable with that environment. I mean, we know the field, the travel's easy, a lot of our families will be able to come, and so it's not like we're flying to Mississippi State and having to experience that hostile environment that we don't know anything about. So it's going to be a crazy night. I'm sure there's going to be 8,000 or 9,000 Husker fans there, and I guess we just look at that as what an awesome experience. There's no pressure on us as the 4 seed coming into this, so we're going to enjoy the experience. But we're also there to compete.
Huskers, Jacks, baseball, Friday. Head coach at South Dakota State wins the title. Only the second time in the NCAA tournament in program history. It's Rob Bishop on tonight. Coach, good to have you. Thanks a lot. We'll be watching Friday. Good luck.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Nate. I appreciate it.
Thanks for your time. Good to have him. Rob Bishop, appreciate his time. He's doing a nice job. South Dakota State head baseball coach. The Jacks baseball program gets through Oral Roberts and into the NCAA tournament, playing in the regional for only the second time in program history, and they'll play Nebraska Friday down in Lincoln. Coming back with who's hot and who's not. Boy, we got a lot to hit there. Is it going to be a Indy 500 Matt Kearney special coming up?
And back to Sioux Falls and the Stampede. Zach Borg with the celebration of the 4th title in team history.
Over the last month, Sioux Falls Stampede fans had gotten used to spending Tuesday nights cheering them on in winner-go-home playoff games. In lieu of another decisive 5th game, they found a pretty good reason to cheer on the Herd once again.
This is unbelievable. I'm honestly glad we didn't need a Game 5. It couldn't have been a better celebration. The past 3 days have been the best days of my life.
The celebration for the Stampede's 4th Clark Cup championship was the cap to a year that renewed many bonds between the community and club. Though this marked the 13th consecutive season Sioux Falls led the USHL in attendance, they topped the 5,000 fans per game mark for the first time since their last Clark Cup title in 2019. And they also set a record for playoff attendance with just under 46,000 fans over the course of their 8 postseason games.
I think this team connected the community like you've never seen before, and that's why they're here, and that's why there's thousands of people here. And it's not a game, but it's a chance to really connect with our guys who really put the team, they put the city on their back, team on their back, and we're celebrating with them because they deserve it, and they were there for us.
That support would prove valuable during the playoff run. Despite a dominant regular season in which they had the second-best record in the USHL, Sioux Falls would face elimination 4 times in the playoffs, winning each time.
Every team talks about it. They're like, oh, we're close, we're a family. But I think, honestly, I've never been a part of a group that's more close than this group. There's no cliques, there's no groups. Everybody hangs out as a team every day, every night. And I think that's what separates us. I thought also we had the perfect combination of skill and grit. Like, we're a team that'll get up in your face, we'll talk trash to you, but we're also a team that can put scores up.
Though they never trailed in the Clark Cup finals against Muskegon after going up 2-0 at home, things looked dire after Game 3 when they blew a 2-goal lead in the final minutes of the 3rd period, eventually succumbing in double overtime.
I think the guys felt obligated to give this city something special, and we've been missing something here. And this is a championship city, and the Canaries have been a great team. They've been great, and unfortunately they didn't win last year. And we actually talked about it. Like, we felt obligated to win because of what happened when we were here, and we were here cheering them on. So there was no way we were going to sweep a series. This team was just like, they're maniacs, and it wasn't going to happen. But it was an amazing thing to be able to go back to the hotel after losing in Game 3, and for the guys to be like, Coach, don't worry, we're going to win tomorrow. And they meant it.
And they would do just that the following night in fitting fashion, with playoff MVP Lennards Feldbergs making a remarkable save, leading to Joey Macrina's breakout.
Macrina along with Schultz, 2-on-1. Macrina shoots. He scores! He scores! He scores! Joey Macrina, the overtime winner, and the Stampede are Clark Cup champions. Yeah, baby!
Going into overtime again in Game 4 was like, oh, we're here again. But we've been there before. We weren't nervous at all. There's never a doubt in our locker room, and we talk about it every single day. I was pretty sure that I was shooting it, but give all the credit to Lenny, man, and all the guys that were on the ice with me then. They were selling out. We were all blocking shots, stick lifts, whatever it is. But Lenny had a welt on his collarbone from that save, and I give him all the credit, man, because if he doesn't make that save, that game's over right then and there, and we're not here right now.
Well, the staff didn't have to prepare for another Game 5. The work for next season and their bid to become the first back-to-back Clark Cup champion in more than 30 years is well underway.
No, we'll be back. We'll be right where we were. It's 2 years we've been at the top, and it'll be 3 years next year. I mean, we know we're going to win.
It also added a bittersweet note to the celebration, as this marked one of the final times this team would ever be together.
I can't help but think about the end of it, and I am super sad to leave this group. We're going to have this for life, and that's the biggest thing we can remember from this team is that we're a family and we did it together. We finished the job, we won the championship, and we're holding up the cup. And hopefully we do it again next year.
They'll certainly have plenty of fans eager to go along for the ride.
The dedication on Tuesday nights, there's like 7,000 people at the Denny, and then you see an entire baseball field full of people. It is unbelievable.
With the Clark Cup champion Sioux Falls Stampede for Midwest Sports Plus, I'm Zach Borg.
And that'll do it for another South Dakota Sports Lounge. A reminder, these shows are daily. Hot Mic with Dom Izzo, Happy Hour with John Gaskins, and The Nate Brown Show. You can find them all on the Midwest Sports Plus app. For video producer Cordell Wright and content manager Drew Trafton, I'm John Gaskins. Cheers!